So the Intel Arc A750 is finally here. I just got it in a couple days ago and decided to throw it in my gaming PC and see how it performed. Gonna be honest, the first impressions I got of it playing some Modern Warfare 2, which, by the way, this card did come with a free copy of the new Modern Warfare 2. So, of course, it should be able to run this game, right? I had high expectations and be able to run this game, seeing as they decided to give the game away for free with this card. And, well, I mean, as you can see, it's running pretty well. Not bad. We're not getting the 144, 200 FPS that we need, but this card is able to run a new game, came out in 2022, run it above 60 FPS consistently for a budget of $250. And really, since this particular one came with the $60 game, I actually paid $190 for the card and 60 for the game, if you want to do the math like that. But for the sake of arguments and everything, we'll say a $250 card is able to run the brand new Modern Warfare 2 at above 60 FPS, which is great. Any card that can run the game at over 60 FPS for that price range is amazing, especially after 2020, 2021, the whole crypto mining saga where you were having to pay almost $1,000 just for a 3060. Now you're telling me I can get the same performance on new games for $250, and I do have to emphasize new games. Let's take a look at what happened whenever I tried to play some Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Okay, so you would think that a graphics card that came out in 2022, even though it's a budget card, should be able to run a game that's 10 years old easily, right? Like that makes sense. Well, just take a look at what's going on here trying to play Counter-Strike. I promise this video is not edited at all for this segment. It is running at normal speed. It's very choppy. It's very slow. My frame rates are nowhere near what I expected them to be. I mean, generally I game on a 3080 Ti, which is a lot more powerful than the Intel Arc A750, yes. But when you look at the frame rates in Modern Warfare 2, on both of those cards, you're looking at the Intel Arc going around 70 FPS, whereas my 3080 Ti on the same settings is only about 130. So, with such a fairly close gap there, I expected an older game to be able to be run at fairly high frame rates. And I was not only wrong, I was disappointed. So, just to be on the safe side, let's go try a different map and see if maybe for some reason there was something going on with that server, yada yada yada, right? Multiple variables. Let's see what's going on. Well, I mean, so we load into Nuke, and it seems a little better at first, but I'm noticing really crazy FPS spikes from like 60 jumping up to 350, back down to 40, which is really insane. And then you'll notice a bunch of stuttering, a bunch of freezing. I don't know. I don't know why this GPU can't play a 10-year-old game. So the last game that I did some testing in is a game called Path of Exile, one of my favorite games. I definitely don't have 10,000 hours in this game or anything. Anyways, so decided to load it up, see what was going on, and it definitely ran this better than Counter-Strike. The frames were a little bit lower. My 3080 Ti generally locks this in at about 144. I turned the VSync on just, to be on the safe side, yada yada. But this one definitely, it was above 60, which is, again, amazing for this budget card, but there's still a bit of stuttering. That stuttering is something that I don't experience on my 3080. So that's my main concern. I would definitely take a hit on the FPS if I wasn't frozen in place for several seconds at a time if I'm playing games other than Modern Warfare 2. Before everybody starts flooding my comment section, letting me know that I just need to update my drivers and that'll probably solve all my issues, well, I did. Intel has, just like NVIDIA and AMD has their own versions of their software for updating their drivers, Intel has their own controller. It's terrible. It's god-awful. I despise it. Now, don't get me wrong, it seems like the software actually does have a lot of promise. I mean, they've got a performance monitoring section. It looks like they're adding in a studio where you can take clips, you can do your recording, so they're definitely trying to compete with NVIDIA as well as AMD here. They're just dropping the ball. The biggest pet peeve I have with this system is it acts as a screen overlay, not an actual process itself. So if you get out of this program while it's, checking for driver updates, while it's doing anything, if you click off, you have to completely reopen this program, and you've lost any progress that you were making while you were. So you just have to sit there and stare at the screen, essentially, is what I'm saying. You have to sit there and wait until it's done. It cannot do background processes. Also, because it is an overlay, anytime you try to click on anything in the left-hand side, I was also clicking on all of my Steam games. So it doesn't lock your cursor to this screen. You're clicking on whatever's behind it too. So it just makes it really annoying and awkward to try to use. So all of this being said, should you buy the Intel Arc A750? Well, it depends. And I would say if you're only playing these newer games, like if you're buying a computer just to play Modern Warfare 2, yeah, the Intel Arc, honestly, great choice. Nice budget card. It'll run the game fairly well, as it's intended. But I think if you're somebody who likes to play a lot of games, especially if you're someone like me who likes to play older games, you're not really going to want this card. This card does not play older games well. I think it's because this card only runs DirectX 11. So any game that runs on DirectX 11, you should have a very pleasant experience playing. Anything older than that, you're gonna have a bad time. So that's the takeaway. Before you buy this GPU, you gotta look up and see what games you play and if they're running on DirectX 11 or not. And if they are, then you should get this card. Great card, great choice. Now that said, I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to just buy a card and it works. So maybe Intel will go back and get some implementation of some DirectX 8, 9, 10, whatever they need to do. Maybe they'll push some software updates to kind of help this. And if they do, then the card is going to be fantastic, I think. I think it really, really will be able to compete with the budget cards through AMD and NVIDIA.